Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We're back here at one of my favorite filming spot locations, and you know what? I have something that's gonna get you electrified, and it's this vehicle right here. This is a 2024 Genesis GV70 electrified. But before we get into this full BEV, battery electric vehicle that has a lot of luxury to it, let's talk about what's going on here. Of course, we've already talked about it many a time here on Rady's Rides. I feel like we're beating a dead horse about the movement towards electrification. Well, I really like the way that Genesis is doing their thinking. Not only are they gonna still continue right now with the internal combustion engine version of this very vehicle, but basically they plucked the engine out and implanted 2 electric motors to give us all-wheel drive and to give us some very shocking performance. Now, in the luxury segment, there's a lot of heavy hitters. Audi, Mercedes, BMW. Does Genesis bring the most? Is this the king of the compact crossover luxury SUVs that are electric? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this GV70 and find out. Right off the bat, the style. I don't care which way you get your GV70, the styling is spot on the money. When it comes to the headlights, you got that very unique style that only Genesis does, full LED daytime running lamps and turn signals. Then you have the double stack LED headlight design, and then working your way down, we have functional corner air curtains. I love the way they're sculpted, and the fact that they're functional makes it even better. Now, with the front end of this vehicle, it does have a very unique style to it that when you see a Genesis going down the road, you know exactly what brand it's coming from. Now, as we come across that massive, what would normally be grille, I like what they've done. They kept the same design that they have on the actual grille of the GV70, the internal combustion engine. They hid the forward-facing camera very nicely in the center, but watch this. As I come over to this side, we push here. This is actually your charge port door. Nicely hidden, easy to get to from the front of the vehicle. Doesn't need to be power opening and closing and all that. That's just all that stuff is all like for show and not really for go. Love the way they kept it simple, and it hides there. You can't even see it. Now on the bottom portion, you do have functionality with the lower grille, and we do have shutters because of drag and trying to cut down on air resistance, but we gotta bring cooling because it does have, of course, a liquid cool battery pack. On the bottom, you got the bright silver on the lower lip and just a little bit of shiny chrome style to it. Other than that, very, very sporty. Now, the one thing I don't like styling-wise is it has sort of like an overbite. I don't like the way the hood comes down like that. I wish they would have done something a little bit different with the design, but other than that, one of my favorites. Now, as we rise up, you have a nice valley in the center with the Genesis badge, very prominent. And then you have these high, very crisp, almost like a folded piece of paper. Nice line on both sides. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. Check it out. Absolutely stunning on the style of the wheel. It's almost like a hand-polished aluminum finish. These are 20-inch wheels. 6-piston, bright calipers, bright white, makes it look so unique with the Genesis name there. And it's nice because they're giving you those Primacy Tour tires from Michelin. Those are known for getting better range because less rolling resistance. It's a 20-inch wheel, 265 on the width, 45 series sidewall, and like I said, motor up front, motor out back. You have different levels of regen braking, and you also have one pedal, which is called iPedal operation with this vehicle. You'll notice how they paint everything all the way around the fender openings. And then sort of like with the overbite on the hood, I'm not liking this gap from when it's closed. I don't know, that kind of just cheapens it a little bit. So I am gonna zonk that, but everything else is well sculpted together. You have your power folding mirrors with your LED lighting, 360-degree cameras, bright shiny metalwork top and bottom, a little bit on the door handles, and then a strip, very simple, very clean on that side skirt extension, you do have a panoramic sunroof and nice roof rails on both sides. And of course you could get crossbars. Working our way towards the rear, this is one of my favorite parts here. Look at the trim. The way it drops down to the edge of that quarter glass. This is real glass, it's not black plastic or anything like that. And then I'm gonna have Steven kind of swing around and just show the nice crisp lines as his shadow passes, the nice crisp lines that we have coming into the rear with that dual stage taillight design, just like the headlights. You have a nice size roof spoiler. I'm gonna have to zonk this though. But I'm gonna have zonk it, and here's why. It's all because of this right here. This is actually the button to open up the rear hatch. It's kind of nice that they blended it in, but I would have preferred if they'd taken this, put it underneath here, and just put the button down here. Keep it simple that way. The Genesis name, GV70, from the back, you can't tell that this is the electrified version. The only way that you could tell is because there's no exhaust down below. You just have that nice metallic silver, just like on the lower lip up front. But I love the rear end on this GV70. It's one of those ones that I like to rub my hands all over. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk about the power of this compact crossover. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hood struts. You can see that the bracing is still here, just like on your internal combustion engine GV70. Lots of plastic, but here's the good news. Watch this. Lift it up, you actually have a little bit of storage up front. So you can actually keep your charging accessories up front and have it perfect to plug in. But I'll close this up and Steven's gonna try to show you underneath there the electric motor. But what do we got going on here? Two electric motors producing 483 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque. It utilizes a 77.4 kilowatt battery, 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds. Quarter mile goes by at 13 seconds flat. Top speed of 151 miles an hour. The vehicle weighs 5,060 pounds. Range 236 miles. On a DC fast charger in 20 minutes, you could go from 10% battery life to 80% battery life. And then here are the MPGs. 98 MPGs in the city, 83 MPGs on the highway. So when you compare that to rivals like the BMW iX or the Audi e-tron, very comparable with what you're getting with this Genesis. But wait until we get to the interior. But until that part, let's see this thing roll. All right, guys, we're inside this 2024 Genesis GV70 Electrified. What's nice is they keep it simple, just two different trim options. This one is the top trim, known as the Prestige. Now, if you're wondering and saying to yourself, well, Joe, I really want to go electrified. I don't want to go with a German Euro version of an electrified vehicle. I'm liking the Genesis brand overall. How much is this? Here's your answer to your question. MSRP is $74,500 for this vehicle, but let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. Look at all the high-end finishes and touches. Leather up top with the contrast stitching, nice creamy white in the center, aluminum speaker grille cover, and then I'm really digging what they did on the center armrest. Look at the edge there. It's almost like a wood finish. Really digging that. Little bit different style. Door pockets on the tighter side, so maybe just one 6-inch cold cut trio. You're not gonna be able to add any lettuce or pickles. A bottle of Sunkist orange soda, and then you'll notice the Lexicon premium sound system down below. Now going from the door panel to the dash, the two-tone is really spectacular. You come on in and you're greeted to that usual 14-inch infotainment system, full touchscreen capability. Love the way you have your separate screen here that you could scroll through, but then you also have your main screen. I hit the home button, and then you could go into things like EV, got your percentages and everything. I'm gonna turn on my windshield wipers because there we go. Now I feel better. You got all your readouts here, very easy to figure out, very easy to understand. Look at all the apps all the icons. It's ridiculous just how much stuff this vehicle can do. I throw it into reverse, backup camera clear as day. We could spin it around 360, right back into park. Fantastic. Working our way down, you got your start stop button. You have your dual climate control. And then you're gonna have heated seats and ventilated seats, and of course, heated steering wheel. Nice real switches and knobs. Open this guy up right here. That's where you're gonna have USB-A's, wireless charging, in that nice compartment. Close it up. You got your drive modes. I'll show you that on the business end. Love the way you have real volume and tuning going on. This is a direct drive controller if you don't want to touch the screen. And this is your controlling your direct drive transmission. I love the way it's got a nice crystal finish to it. 2 cup holders. The leather is phenomenal. Open it up. You got a place for your family jewels, a 12 volt, and you could put, I would say, this is a tough one, 12 to 14 Uncrustables. So if you're into those PB&J easy access and you don't want to make your PB&J because it's too much work, a lot of work taking the butter and smearing it, peanut butter and smearing it on the bread and the jelly. I've been told it's a lot of work to make a PB&J. You could get your Uncrustables and you just open up the bag and stuff them in your face. The seats, the Napa leather, love the way they did the bolstering. Full electric assist for the passenger. Obviously full electric assist for the driver, duh. Alcantara material all throughout. And then look at this panoramic sunroof. Wow, one touch operation all the way back. And then it comes closed, very easy. But why don't you come over to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of this Genesis GV70. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have 2 memory seat settings. You do have a Genesis sill plate to remind you what brand vehicle you bought. I am going to zonk it. I wish it would light up just to give it a nice touch. But what I'm not going to zonk are the seat controls, especially massage setting for the driver. Seats are comfy. The lower cushion is nice and wide. I do like the way you could adjust the bolstering and all the different lumbar support. I'm 6 feet tall. I got plenty of room in here. And then of course you got the steering wheel. Wonderful leather. You have a boost button, so you have a few seconds of overboost when it comes to the power from the battery and the 2 electric motors. They did it right with the stitching on the horn button. Flat white on all the switchgear. And then these paddles are actually for your regen braking. So you could add more or add less. Very easy to do. And then look at that 3D digital gauge cluster. Very, very cool how they have that. And then you go into the different modes and it changes everything. And what I love about it is you could do your my preference, or you could go sport, comfort, and eco. And it actually adjusts. When you go into sport, it tightens the bolstering and everything. I really, really like that setup. You got your overboost feature. Obviously, boost conditions not met because we're not currently driving, but nice to see all that operation. And of course, you have a full head-up display. Not a heads-up display, head-up display, a HUD. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the back seat and see if your passenger is gonna be sitting in the lap of luxury in this GV70. All right, guys, back seat time, and I'm telling you right now, for a compact crossover, they have a really good amount of space in here. My head is not even close to the headliner or that panoramic roof. I am gonna have to do this because that's my OCD coming into play. Okay, I feel better. You do have these cargo nets, and I am gonna zonk them. You put one of those Uncrustables in here, and you go like that, there's a high chance it's gonna bust jelly and peanut butter all over this beautiful interior, and then you're not gonna wanna eat it. You might actually develop a taste aversion because it messed up the interior in your GV70 Electrified. What is nice though, is that you do have your same great controls just like up front for your AC. Heated seats, but no ventilated seats. And at $75,000, I want my passengers to be ventilated as well. USB-A's, 2 of them, which is nice. And I do like the chauffeur seat. So if somebody is encroaching in your personal space, you're like, hey man, get off me. You could get that space real nice and easy. The seats do recline, which is nice. Just enough to make things interesting, especially on a date night. Open this up. It looks like a marshmallow, but it's not as soft as a marshmallow. So a little on the hard side, but you do have the 2 cup holders. And they did do the same great soft leather back here, which is nice. But why don't we go ahead, let's get into the cargo area because I want to show you how this Genesis GV70 Electrified drives. All right, guys, time for the cargo area. Just gonna hit that button. Nice electric assist, comes up quickly. You're gonna be greeted to almost 30 cubic feet of space. Fold the rear seats down, that's gonna give you 57 cubic feet of space. I like the way they have the handles right here. You're gonna pull, that's gonna allow you to fold down those seats, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. They almost fold down totally flat. And the great news is, check out some of the little tricks that we have here. So Steven's gonna zoom in. You got a place for a box of Twinkies here, a 12 volt right there. And then watch this, home power source right at your fingertip touch. And then of course on top of that, you do have storage underneath for your charging accessories if you don't wanna put it at the front of the vehicle. So you can either put snacks, little Debbies and stuff like that, or you could put the charging accessories back here. My thing is I would put the little Debbie snacks back here. That's what I would do. Some Swiss cake rolls, some Nutter Butters. Speaking my language. But let's go ahead and speak Rady's Rise language. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go on throttle in this GV70. Right, guys, we're inside this 2024 Genesis GV70 Electrified. And what I love right away about this vehicle, it feels so close to driving a standard GV70 with an internal combustion engine. Love that 14-inch infotainment system, well within reach. And then of course, all of the fine materials, the stitching, the sound deadening, the acoustic glass. You're just surrounded with luxury. Now, of course, what is shocking with a vehicle like this is that with the dual motors, you also have some great acceleration. And basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go from comfort mode to sport, and then we're gonna go on throttle here. Are you ready? On throttle, wow! Love the way you get all that instant torque, and while I'm doing it, I'm getting a full massage. So that's the great thing with this, is having the acceleration, having the speed, but also having all of those special touches. Now, of course, like I pointed out, you hit boost at the bottom of the steering wheel, and that's gonna give you even more. So, on throttle, look at that, it goes in that boost mode. Jeez. And then you have the regen braking, and it gives you that timer of how long the boost mode lasts. And then of course, I could do the different levels of regen braking, which is really nice as well. We got the corner cameras, the 3D digital gauge cluster is just phenomenal, one of the best. The needles in sport mode look like freaking lightsabers. And I like the way you could easily adjust the regen braking, including doing one pedal operation, which is really nice. That allows you to really have that comfort, especially when you're driving in a high traffic situation. And if you don't want it anymore, you just hit the right pedal, or paddle, I should say, and you shut it right off. But let's go on throttle again. Are you ready? On throttle, all-wheel drive, and really just allows you to take advantage of all that great traction that you have. And that's another thing you're gonna like about this vehicle. With the dual motors, the traction and the grip is just phenomenal. Head-up display has just the right amount of information without being too much. And then of course, the seats. The way that they're sculpted, the way that they look, the way that they feel is just phenomenal. We go back to home. I'm gonna go into EV status. I like the way it's got your battery charge. It lets you know how much range you have left. You got your easy to use digital climate control, which is wonderful as well. And just the stitching, all of the materials, really, really nice and very easy to use everything, which is something that you don't see all the time. Here's one pedal. I don't have my feet on either pedal, and we're sitting here nice and still. And then as soon as that light turns green, we can go on throttle, and you can see just how fast the acceleration is. On throttle, here we go. Really allows you to just have the ultimate in feel and function with this being a crossover SUV. And then, like I said, with the one pedal operation, we come to a stop. Nice and easy. You could change the different information in the center, all by the press of a button. And then even the way they sculpted this center console area, it provides you enough room, but also enough comfort as well. All right, guys, pulling away from the light. I'm actually gonna take it out of one pedal operation. And it just feels good, you know, especially when you have it set on the lower level of regen braking. It feels very natural, and it just feels very Genesis. And I mean that in the highest regards. Steering has good feedback. It's not very heavy, even in sport mode. And the suspension is phenomenal in here. And because it is a little on a smaller compared to the GV80, it's very easy to navigate. Visibility out the front is wonderful. And I think the bigger news is how quiet it is in here. Which, remember, for an electric vehicle, the engineers do not have it easy because you don't have any vibrations from an engine that's running to cancel out certain noises. So they did a really good job with all of that work as well. But definitely impressed, and probably, I'm gonna say it, one of my favorite EVs to drive is this Genesis GV70. I think it really blends performance, decent range, and then of course on top of that, the luxurious touches. But we're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I will see you in a split second. All right, guys, been another great day. Really getting charged up with this Genesis GV70 Electrified. Gotta thank Jared and the rest of the Genesis USA team for getting us access to this press suite vehicle. Let me know down in the comment section how you feel about it. Is this the way to go for you if you want to have a luxury crossover SUV that's smaller but electrified? Let me know down in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Radius Rides family. Of course, we need to give it up Stephen Flood Photography, working that camera like a champ. Show him some love in the comment section. Thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.